due to increasing rent prices and ever-evolving technology, bookstores throughout the city have seen a steady decline in recent years. And in the Bronx, I don't even know if we have one. I mean, we have Barnes and Noble, but there aren't any individual like mom and pop shop bookstores, which is something we're going to have a conversation about. So this one author is determined to bring the art of reading back to the borough of the Bronx. And he's a playwright and author. And we're going to welcome Calvin Alexander Ramsey, who wishes to open up a pop-up children's bookstore right here in the South Bronx. I want to make that I make that clear because I said bookshop before, and how could it be a bookshop if it's pop-up, right? Yeah. So here now to share more about the reasons behind his idea, please welcome playwright and best-selling children's book author Calvin Alexander Ramsey. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Well, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're happy to have you here. And shall we begin with your books first, or shall we talk about this whole pop-up concept first? Like, what shall we tap into first, right? Because we've got Ruth in the Green Book, and then we got Belle, the Last Mule at G's Bend, and I know this is being made into a play, right?
Right, a musical.
A musical,
Exactly.
a musical at that.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah,
nice,
yeah.
nice. So, all right, so let's talk a little bit about your background as an author and what's inspired you to go beyond being a children's author, a children's book author, and now becoming a children's book pop-up bookstore.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I moved up here about 2.5 years ago from Atlanta, Georgia, and I settled in the Bronx, and you know, I'm glad I did. So I do a lot of school visits, you know, all over, you know, here, Connecticut, New Jersey, Boston, you name it, I go there. You know, a lot of private schools and some public schools. And what I found out in the Bronx, unfortunately, is that there's not one children's bookstore in the Bronx. And so there's wonderful kids in the Bronx and wonderful grandmothers and grandfathers who want to do the best they can for their kids. And so I kind of mentioned this to some people down by Yankee Stadium, and I got offered 3 locations. So it looked like it's just all coming together just by saying it.
So I have a question for you, right? With regards, I happen myself, I'm a mom, I have a 6-year-old. She's going to be 7 this year, and you know, not that I'm bragging or anything, but she's already at a 3rd grade reading level, and she's just completing 1st grade. And part of it is because I've been reading to her since she was in my stomach, and I never stopped reading to her. And reading is like a really like it's a quality time that we make really, really fun. And so, just because you're geared more towards the children's book reading and bookstore and book writing, do you think that there's an age in which you develop that habit, like that habit should be developed so that it becomes a primary form of entertainment versus watching television?
Of course, yeah. I think it's, you know, the earlier you start, the better, you know.
But is there age like where it actually can stick, right? Because reading, because it's a habit that you develop, and if you aren't into really reading and just imagining the story yourself, it becomes a job, right? For those who don't. So I'm just curious, right? I'm asking you mainly because you're geared more towards the youth, like you know, toddlers and pre-K up until what, like 3rd grade?
Pre-K up to 5th grade.
5th grade.
What we're finding out is that young ladies, young girls, you know, start earlier because they're fascinated with, and there's so many wonderful characters in the world of literature for young girls. Alice in Wonderland, Annie, Snow White, Cinderella, is have something to pull them in. Little boys, that's a different story. Little boys fall behind very early, and in some cases they never catch up. And so that's what we're trying to do, trying to get
Why do you think
boys.
that? Why do you think that is?
I think it's a couple of things. I think it's they don't find some of the subject matter interesting, peer pressure, and some of them may have some reading difficulties that they just don't want to talk about, or their parents are not aware of. And if the parents are not reading at home, the kids sometimes don't read at home either.
Right.
In some homes, there are no books.
Right.
So that's another big issue.
Right. So, just because, you know, we're here having this conversation, and as far as I'm concerned, we're sharing with everyone, reading is cool. It's the coolest thing you could do. right? Because you get to exercise your mind in a way that you get to design how the story is going to be interpreted versus somebody who puts it on television and decides for you.
They're saying now that a third of all the kids in the Bronx are reading 2 grades below their level, and which is a very serious thing. Because once you get that far behind, it keeps magnifying itself. It keeps goes on and on. So what we want to do with the bookstore is not only have a bookstore in there, but have a program in the afternoons where we'll be tutoring.
Nice.
So we a little more than just a bookstore. And we'll have something for the grandparents as well, and have English as a second language. They have a grandparents' day where the grandparents can come in and read to their grandchildren.
All right, so let's talk about this pop-up concept, right? This has been a new term lately with a lot of businesses, and so I don't know if I fully grasp it. Is it called pop-up because you're like moving around locations, or is it pop-up because you're not in a set shop or a store, or you pay rent? Do you pay rent for like? I know. I just cut through the chase.
Well, you pay some rent. You know?
Okay.
But there's a model we're going by that's in Harlem called Word Up, and they started off at the pop-up bookstore, and they've been in their location now like 4 years. And they started off, it's a nonprofit. They bounced around for maybe a year. Then they found the location. By the time it gave them a chance to get themselves together, get a board together, and start raising funds. And the books that they sell are like 50 cents to $1, used books. And the new books are from $3 to $5. So it's very affordable. So it's not going to be making a lot of money off selling books.
Right.
It's going to be making more money off having books available to the children.
Right.
And to their parents and grandparents.
Right.
So the pop-up concept is until you land somewhere permanently, you have to kind of do a pop-up.
So what is your vision, sir? Because you look like you are out to change something. You're out to transform the next generation.
Well,
Please do share.
Well, it kind of fell on me. I had no intentions of doing this, you know, but I'm on the board of the Bronx Museum for the Arts. I'm also on the board for the Bronx Community Health Network. And so by being on both these boards, I got to see and hear some things. And the next thing I know, I was just suggesting we need a bookstore in the Bronx for children. And someone suggested a space that was available on the Grand Concourse at the old Grand Plaza Hotel. And they said you could possibly get in there, you know, for a while. And so that led to other conversations and other people coming on board. Next thing I know, I got a whole bunch of school teachers who want to come by and volunteer.
That's
I got
great.
grandparents who want to be involved. And I also have people donating books.
That's great. That's great. And please let me know, because I have a lot of books myself that, I mean, somebody doesn't want to part with, but we need to make room for the new ones. And I also understand that it's a seniors citizens home. Is it a seniors citizens home? So you have the elders working with the children, which I think is an amazing dynamic.
I know what value, I mean, they have so much wealth of knowledge and life experience that they can share.
It's great. It's great. It's beautiful community building. It's wonderful. So where can people find out more about this pop-up shop?
Go to my website. It's Calvin Alexander Ramsey Senior.com. I can also give my number.
Oh,
okay.
well, I don't know. Do you want people, just random people calling you? It's up to you. I mean, you know, it's on you.
Well, they can also email me at playwright18@gmail.com. That's probably the best way to do it.
All right. So when are the pop-up shops? I guess up. All right.
We're looking by the time school starts back, we want to be up and running.
Okay.
So all this summer long, we're going to be organizing.
Okay, and it's going to be at that one location.
Right now, we were offered another location near the McDonald's down by Yankee Stadium. There's a Chase building that is vacant. It's a bigger space,
Okay.
but I think we're going to be in the Grand Plaza Hotel first.
The Grand Plaza Hotel. This is wonderful stuff. Thank you so much for stopping by and sharing this.
Well, thanks
with
for
us.
having me.
Absolutely, Calvin
Appreciate it.
Alexander Ramsey. And of course, you can check out his books, Ruth in the Green Book and Belle, The Last Mule at G's Bend. All right, once again, to learn more about Calvin and follow his journey of opening the children's bookstore, pop-up bookstore, that is, in the South Bronx, please check out his Facebook page at Calvin Alexander Ramsey.